Radio from Small Beginnings, looking at the songs of Nick Lowe and Dave Edmunds.
We've been together for a long time, but we won't stay that way for long. 'Cause when you call out my name, it just don't sound the same. We're just falling out of love as others do.
The partnership between Nick Lowe and Dave Edmunds was an inspired one. Lowe had the songs, which were often presented to Dave Edmunds in half-finished form, and together they would create what many critics consider to be classics.
We've been together for a long time, but we won't stay that way for long. 'Cause when you call out my name, it just don't sound the same. We're just falling out of love as others do. We had
There's one song that he liked it. If he didn't like the way I'd done it. I'm just trying to remember now what the score was. I think he didn't like some of the chords in it, I think, and some of the vocal arrangements and things. But that, we used to do that all the time. He taught me a lot actually about underdoing things. But I'd always overdo them, put too many chords in things, and he taught me a lot about stripping stuff down. And taking it down to the barest minimum. And that's always dead right. If you take out all the padding and so that your song has just got everything on your song is needed. There isn't any flab on it at all. It's just all needed. And he did was the first song that he and I actually did together.
but I see it oh so differently. 'Cause since you're whispered, I love you, stop sounding like it used to. We're falling out of love as others do.
It was very exciting as well because the two of us didn't know really what. For me, I was sort of in awe of really quite a lot of Dave. So it was very exciting for me to see these songs being transformed, by this guy who could sing much better than me, and he was also very keen on doing these songs. So it was a very exciting time for me. And also I learnt loads about how the amount you could get away with when you record. Leaving bum notes in, because sometimes they don't sound like bum notes. Sometimes they make a sort of, by accident almost, they can sometimes sound really quite good.
But I see it oh so differently. 'Cause since you're whispered, I love you, stop sounding like it used to. We're falling out of love as lovers do.
One of the first songs that Nick and Dave wrote together, As Lovers Do. And another successful song they came up with together was I Knew the Bride, a real rock anthem. Nick tells the story of that one. The demo you'll hear was recorded in that small London studio he spoke of earlier on, Pathway Studio, with Nick Lowe once again handling the vocals.
I think I'd heard Get Out of Denver, Bob Seger, and I thought, oh, that's a great song. The way those words come tumbling out, it's like Chuck Berry plus, so over the top gabbling those words, and so the words have a sort of rhythm in them as well. Like Chuck Berry's, his lyrics are great because he used to choose his words that they had such great sort of percussion in the words as well. I thought that's fantastic. He used really quite complicated words, quite that you don't really hear in rock and roll songs, but 3 or 4 syllables, would just hit the beat along. And I thought, well, I can do that. So I thought of this song, I Knew the Bride When She Used to Rock and Roll. It's kind of a corny premise, really, but there's masses of scope there. You know, I mean, Chuck Berry wrote a song about the same thing. It was a different sounding song. What was it called? Never Can Tell. That same sort of idea, you know. It's got kind of a corny premise, but I just wanted to see if I could do one of those songs with tons of words in, you know, and a rousing chorus that would be a real crowd pleaser. After months of staying up late, old Edmunds managed to memorise all the words, and we recorded it.
Little girl a bath, and so we put down a grand on a cozy little love's nest. You could have called the profession and qualified success. They had a French hotel for 150 quid. Take a look at the bridegroom smiling, pleased as pie, shaking hands all around with a glassy look in his eye. He got a real good job and shirt and ties nice. But I remember a time when she would never even look at him twice. But I can see her now, drinking with the boys, breaking their hearts like they were toys. She used to do the pony, she used to do the stroll. I knew the bride when she used to rock and roll. I knew the bride when she used to rock and roll. I knew the bride when she used to rock and roll. I knew the bride when she used to rock and roll. The headphones on, jumping up and down to a favorite song. I still remember when she used to want to make a lot of noise, hopping and bobbing with the street corner boys. She used to love to party, she used to love to go. I knew the bride when she used to rock and roll. I knew the bride when she used to rock and roll. I knew the bride when she used to rock and roll. I knew the bride when she used to rock and roll. Hey!
I Knew the Bride, and you can probably tell the similarities between the original demo version and the final finished product, because they used the same backing track for both, but the final record that you buy in the shops had a few overdubs on it from Dave Edmunds. And you can probably see how closely, at least I hope you can see, how closely the two men work together and the sort of empathy and chemistry that they create. Their two styles are ideally suited to each other, and their attitudes don't differ much either. Dave Edmunds flatly refuses to record demos.
Never. That's the kiss of death for me, because I always find I get some kind of thing going on the demo that I can't duplicate in the studio. I've talked to other people who make records for a living and songwriters, and they find the same thing happens. Once you get a little Porter studio or an 8-track TIAC or something, and you start putting things down, and some lovely things happen, and you go in the studio to do them properly, and you just cannot get it back again. So I just book a studio and go into it and record my demos and release them on albums.
Sounds too simple to be true, really. And another strange fact about Dave Edmunds is that he doesn't actually enjoy writing songs. He's much more at home recording other people's songs, which perhaps explains why he gets on so well with Lowe. He's also had songs from Elvis Costello, Graham Parker and Bruce Springsteen written specifically for his style, and he's sent tapes regularly by music publishers who tend to frustrate him because they don't seem to understand his particular style.
A lot of the stuff I get, because my name is sort of linked with rock and roll, I get stuff with rock and roll in the title and someone going mad on a piano running their hands up and down and loads of echo on the vocal, and that's not it really. That's not what I'm looking for. There's something else. Like I couldn't believe my luck when Elvis Costello came in the studio one day when I was doing my album Repeat When Necessary, I think, and I just sort of as a joke I asked him if he had a song for me, and he came up with this one, Girls Talk, and I couldn't believe it. I knew it'd be just right. The way it eventually turned out was a lot different to the way he played it to me, but I could see something in it that would be just right for me. The stuff I get through is really funny. I mean, there's people going frantic into a microphone thinking that it's wild, crazy rock and roll, therefore it must be right for Dave Edmunds, and that's not really it at all.
For those of you who are interested in sending him songs, he likes his cake and not the icing on the cake. That's how Dave puts it anyway. The sort of songs that Nick Lowe used to give him as they no longer work together. So try writing a few. Dave tells us about their early sessions and also about a song called Deborah and how that came from it.
I'd hear him sort of mumbling in the corner, and he'd be singing a verse of a song. I'd say, "What's that?" He'd say, "Oh, it's something I've written." He'd just be doodling away with the guitar. I said, "Well, what is it?" And he wouldn't know what it, you know, he'd write a verse and wouldn't know, and drop it, leave it at that. And I used to pick up on it and finish it off, or give it some direction, and we both finish it off. That's how Deborah came about. He was going to drop that. He just came up with the first verse and he was going to drop it. And then I just, as I say, I sort of overheard him. And then within half an hour, we'd finished it. And I think it sounds great. To see how ideas are formed and then how they turn into a complete song is just really fascinating. I don't think I've ever been that interested in songwriting. If I was really interested in it, I'd do it. But because I'm not interested, I don't think that way like songwriters do, where they hear a phrase here or a sentence there which catches their imagination and they build a song into it. Because I'm not interested in it, I just don't think that way anymore. I just really prefer recording and playing live.
There's a girl living in this town. She's a fox and she knows well. All the fellas from miles around I'll try to get her, but they never will. Just to have a girl with so much class, they crawl a mile over broken glass, and she let them do it just for a game. And Deborah's her name. Deborah, my Deborah. Deborah, and Deborah's her name. One day when my ship comes in, I'm gonna make her wonder where I've been. I'll get some money and I'll jump in my car. I'll go and make a meal of Deborah. I'll take her driving up to the top. When we get started, ain't gonna stop. I'm gonna go and pick that wildwood flower, and her name is Deborah. Deborah, heartbreaking love, making connoisseur. Deborah is her name. Deborah is her name. Deborah is her name. Deborah is her name.
It's the original demo version and the final recorded product of Deborah, and I think once again the point is proven. Nick Lowe provides the vocals on the demo version, but I think you must agree that it really comes to life when Dave Edmunds gets hold of it, so to speak. And one of Dave's favourites in the collaboration with Nick is Here Comes the Weekend. It's yet another example of how spontaneity can produce the best songs.
We both had terrible hangovers, and we were at the Nashville rooms, as was then. And I said, "Hey, Nick, you got a song for me?" And he said, "I don't know." He said, "What do you think about the weekend?" He said, "No one's done anything about the weekend since Eddie Cochran." I said, "Oh, well, of course, we have to start off with Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday." And then it started, and he said, "Oh, Monday ain't no fun day, Tuesday's a blue day," and it went on like that. And within about 7 or 8 minutes, we had the song finished. And then I put a tune to it later, and I thought that I was really happy with that. That's when I first started, collaborating songwriting with Nick, really, and that was quite a buzz, because it turned out really It was done really fast, and it was recorded really quickly, and it came out, and it sold really well. It was used on Capital Radio every Friday, I think, for years.
Monday, no Monday, Tuesday's a blue day, Wednesday's a friend's day, Thursday's the worst day, Friday's great, 'cause I can hardly wait until the weekend. I should be clocking in at 8, but I'm a little late. Can't pay my baby 'cause I took her on a date. 2 till 10, and then it's Friday again. Here come the week. Here come the weekend. Here come the weekend. The working week's so tough, I think I've had enough until the weekend. Had an overdose of doctor's notes, but it just don't ease the pain. Going on the sick, don't do the trick. Sooner or later I'll be clocking in again. Working like a dog on Thursday. Never see enough of my take-home pay. They pay me for the ship like they was given a gift. Here come the weekend. I've had an overdose of doctor's notes, but it just don't ease the pain. Going on the sick, don't do the trick. Sooner or later I'll be clocking in again. Someday I'll be able to forget my working day. Life will be grim because my ship is coming in. Everything will go my way and I won't have to say, here come the weekend. Here come the weekend. Here come the weekend. My working week's so tough, I think I've had enough until the weekend. Here come the weekend. Here come the weekend.
I reckon that was just one of those songs that had to be written, no matter whether it took 7 or 8 minutes or 7 or 8 weeks. But 7 or 8 minutes, no toiling over songs for 3 months with these lads. Finally, we come to From Small Things, which is sort of apt considering the title of this series, From Small Beginnings. And with the Nick Lowe link severed, Dave Edmunds turned to other writers for his material. There was obviously no shortage of that, but Dave exercised strict quality control, and it was through Capitol's own Roger Scott that Bruce Springsteen came into the act. Now, Roger's a Springsteen fanatic. I mean, he probably thinks that's a tame description of him, and he invited Dave to Bruce's concert at Wembley Arena last year. Edmunds was one of the converted, but it was backstage afterwards that he got his biggest shock.
Big fella came up, tapped me on the shoulder, and I think he was Bruce's tour manager or something. He said, "Would you follow me? Bruce wants to see you in his dressing room," which is amazing because I didn't know that Bruce knew I existed, and I don't know how he knew I was there because there's about 15,000 people. So very strange. So I went back to the dressing room, and I got along very well with Bruce. Great guy. I was there for about 3/4 of an hour or something. And I think I jokingly said, "Well, you know, you've written some songs for Gary Bonds, how about one for me?" And he said, "I've got one." I said, "You're joking?" He said, "Yeah." And he picked up a guitar and he just sang me, "From small things, big things one day come." Sort of tailor-made, really. It was perfect. He said, "I'll send you a demo." I said, "Oh, yeah." You know, because you never know. And people say things like that. But I thought, well, he's got to send me a tape now. Well, he did eventually. I had to go over to New York for something else and called into his office, and there was a tape waiting for me.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's this thing. She's way at high school. Now make a fortune in the promised land. She got a job behind the counter, hitting all night hamburger stand. She wrote faithfully on to Mama. Now, Mama, don't you worry none. From small things, Mama, big things one day come. He was one Friday. He put in out of the dawn. He was tall and handsome. First she took his order, then she
how Dave Edmunds met Bruce Springsteen, and it's sort of nice really. Could be an anthem for the whole series, from small things, big things one day come. Hopefully Small Beginnings itself might grow bigger one day, we'll see. I'm Richard Allinson, and that not only wraps up this programme, but also this series of Small Beginnings. I'd like to thank Dave Edmunds for lending us such an interesting demo tape, and of course all the other artists who parted with their prized possessions and their demos throughout the series. Those were Kate Bush, Ultravox, Jeff Wayne, and B.A. Robertson, who probably carried off the award for the most crusty demo of the series. Well done there, Brian. Andy Hill, U2, Chris Rea, Hazel O'Connor, the Boomtown Rats, Thin Lizzy, and of course the talkative Nick Lowe. Thanks also to Harry Doherty, who put it all together. Production was by Tony Hale and Roy Jones, and Malcolm fiddled the knobs. And next Saturday at 8 on Capitol, a new series entitled The Plain Man's Guide to Rock, presented by Roger Scott.